welcome to our weekly news programme. It's just gone 6 p.m. on Saturday the 25th of February. And in the news this week, viewers will have noticed that local supermarket shelves are a little short of some fresh vegetable produce over the last week or so. Poor weather in countries such as Spain and Morocco have caused a shortage of some fruits and vegetables which we heavily rely on during the winter months. As a result, some supermarkets such as Morrisons, Sainsbury's and Aldi have limited the number of items we can buy, and many fresh produce shelves in supermarkets are empty. Items that seem to be mainly affected are peppers, tomatoes and cucumbers. Morrisons, Sainsbury's and Aldi have all limited sales of peppers and tomatoes as shelves lay empty and unstocked. The Mediterranean misfortune meant many of the shelves in Morrisons in Weymouth have been left empty this week. A note on shelves says available across our tomatoes and peppers range has been significantly impacted by adverse weather conditions across Spain and Morocco. Weymouth Rotary are thanking the people of the town after the club's recent fundraising total reached £3,000, with the money going to disaster relief in Turkey and Syria. They've also been out collecting further in the last couple of days. Weymouth Rotary President David Langridge said, "Once again, the locals of the town have shown huge generosity in their donations, and we wanted to provide more opportunities for people to give money in the coming days, either with spare cash or by contactless card if they wish. We're working with the wider Rotary International organisation to ensure that the monies raised go to immediate use. We'd like to thank Asda, Morrisons and Camera Corner for their support, and it's inspiring to see businesses and individuals alike coming together to give what relief they can to people affected by this awful tragedy." In addition to donations from the public, Weymouth Rotary and the Pilgrim House Trust in Hope Square have donated 6 shelter boxes and 4 water survival boxes that provide the essentials for shelter, cooking and clean water. Donations can also be made online at www.weymouthrotary.uk or by cheque payable to Weymouth Rotary Club and sent to Weymouth Rotary, Pilgrim's House, 1 Hope Street, Weymouth, DT4 8TU. Yesterday, the Ukrainian flag was raised at County Hall in Dorset, and in fact across many places in Dorset, to mark the 1-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Councillors and council employees joined the national 1-minute silence that happened at 11 a.m. More than 900 Ukrainians have settled across Dorset since Vladimir Putin's forces began the war, forcing thousands to flee their homeland. Councillor Laura Bedlow, Dorset Council's Portfolio for Culture, Communities and Customer Service, said, "As we mark the anniversary of this conflict, we continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Ukraine and reaffirm our commitment to those fleeing the conflict in their homeland. As the war sadly continues, more Ukrainians need a place of safety, and the Council are seeking new hosts in Dorset to help those overseas as well as Ukrainians already in the area who need to move on from their initial sponsorship arrangement." Now, if you're able to continue hosting but need further support, or you are interested in hosting and would like to find out more, do not hesitate to contact Dorset Council, and the email address for contact is ukraineresponse at dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. The Dorset Together Ukraine network includes Dorset Council, the NHS Public Health Dorset, Department of Work and Pensions, the Emergency Services Faith Group, Skills and Learning Dorset, Volunteer Centre Dorset, Dorset Race Equality Council, Help and Kindness, Citizens Advice and other local groups. So there's lots of people out there to support, and local groups across Dorset will be holding events across the community to mark this anniversary. And they also provide a range of support and activities for hosts and their guests across Dorset. And you can find out more about some of those groups and some of that support by going to www.helpandkindness.co.uk/support-for-Ukraine. That's www.helpandkindness.co.uk/support-for, that's FOR-Ukraine. Now, Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue have announced the winners of their road safety competition. See You on the Road is a campaign launched last year by Dorset Road Safe to encourage greater awareness of the risks of pedestrian distraction. In 2021, there were over 100 young people aged between 11 and 19 who were seriously injured as pedestrians on Dorset's roads. The main causes of these collisions were the casualty failing to look properly before crossing the road and the driver failing to see the person on foot. Last summer, a competition was held for young people aged between 9 and 16 to design a poster, social media image or animation that highlighted the dangers in a way that would draw the attention to all road users. Entries were shared across social media by DW Dorset Wilts Fire and Rescue Road Safety before two winners were chosen by Assistant Chief Constable Steve Lyne of Dorset Police, Chief Fire Officer Ben Ansell from Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue, and Dorset's Police and Crime Commissioner David Sibbett. A clever poster led to Holly Abbott, who was aged 12 at the time of the entry, from Gillingham School, winning the category for 9 to 12-year-olds. She has received a certificate and a Monkey World adoption pack kindly donated by Monkey World. And the winner in the category of the 13 to 16-year-olds, who you can see on the screen, is Jacob McCulloch, who was aged 14 at the time of entry, from All Saints Church of England Academy in Wyke, Regis, Weymouth. So well done to Jacob. He received £50 Amazon voucher kindly donated by Merck for his animation, and that can be seen, if you want to see it, on the Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue Service YouTube channel. So do pop over there and have a look at Jacob's animation. Maybe we'll try and get that up for next week's programme for you. The winning entries are now being used by Dorset Road Safe to promote road safety across the county, targeting both drivers and the young people who are most vulnerable. So well done to those two for their competition entries and, of course, winning in those two age groups. Now, officers from Dorset Police have issued new images and are renewing their appeal for information as they continue to search for a missing teenager from the Dorchester area. Alex Bendel, who is also known as Alice and is 18 years old, was reported missing at around 3 p.m. on Sunday the 12th of February. Following CCTV inquiries, the last known sighting has been confirmed as being at 7:41 p.m. on Saturday the 11th of February in Cornwall Road, Dorchester. Alex is described as 5 feet 6 inches tall, of slim build with short brown hair, and they were last seen wearing a green puffer-style body warmer, a black hooded jumper, dark coloured jeans, Dr. Martin boots, and a green lace in one boot and a purple lace in the other, a bracelet over the cuff of the right arm, and carrying a small backpack. Now, they've now issued images of a distinctive hooded jumper, which you can see on screen, that Alex was wearing, in the hope that it might help members of the public remember any possible sightings. Now, as well as that picture of the hoodie, they're also issuing pictures of two distinctive bottles that Alex had, and we've got one of them on the screen there. It's believed that Alex purchased one of these bottles shortly before they went missing, and they want to urge anyone who has come across discarded bottles that looks like this type in the Dorchester area to please get in touch with Dorset Police and tell them where those bottles were found, because it might give some indication to Alex's last movements. Anyone with information, anyone that's got any CCTV that might be useful, thinks they may have seen somebody wearing that hoodie or have found a discarded bottle similar to that on the screen, are asked to call Dorset Police on 101. Now, Dorset Police are also appealing for witnesses or anyone with relevant dashcam footage to come forward after a bag containing Class A drugs was recovered from the site of a road traffic collision near Dorchester. Dorset Police received a report at 1:18 p.m. on Wednesday the 15th of February of a single vehicle collision involving a green Ford Fiesta which was blocking a lane of traffic at the Stinsford roundabout on the A35. Officers attended and found that the occupants of the vehicle had left the scene. Nearby they located a large bag containing a significant amount of white powder, which now has been tested and confirmed to be cocaine. Now, if you saw anything that day, that's Wednesday the 15th of February, just before 1:18 p.m. You've got any relevant CCTV dash cam footage if you were driving in that area and you saw that vehicle being left there and there were people with the vehicle, then Dorset Police would like to know about that. You can call them on 101, or if you wish to give any information anonymously, you can do it by calling Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111. Now, Weymouth will not have so many fun fairs this year after local councillors voted to reduce the amount of days fun fairs will be in the town. The result is that there will be no fun fairs in front of the pavilion this year except at Easter, and only 20 days of fun fairs at the Jubilee Clock. The fun fairs have been operated in Weymouth for over 30 years by the Danter family. It means that there will be no fun fair on the pavilion forecourt except over the Easter holidays, and the only other place that they will be is at the Jubilee Clock. Now, Eddie Danter has been in talks with the council about improving safety and security after complaints from hoteliers and the manager at the pavilion, but the news came as a complete shock to him that he wouldn't be able to offer so many fun fairs in Weymouth this year. Mr. Danter had admitted that there had been occasions where problems had been with troublemakers, but said this is not unusual in busy seaside resorts. But he also said that large numbers of people attending the Funfair shows that they widely support the large numbers of people attending the fun fairs widely support the fun fairs, and they are both local and holidaymakers. Alternative sites were looked at the Swannery car park and the peninsula behind the pavilion, and these had been proposed by Weymouth Town Council as a compromise, but in a blow they were taken off the table by Dorset Council just shortly ahead of the meeting this week. Now, committee chairman Councillor Ryan Hope, who had voted in support of the fair, said it is disappointing that the majority of committee members did not give mitigation measures a chance. The majority of residents and visitors support the fairground, he added. It will also have a detrimental impact on the council's budget. The council will lose approximately £23,547 in fees for these bookings, and it will now need to look at other ways for that income to be generated. Councillor Hope added that he felt the fairground was being blamed for behaviour that is happening on the seafront and surrounding areas every day of the year, and that the council efforts should be targeted at resolving this rather than preventing an activity that brings joy to the majority. Now, next Friday we will see that the local branch of Barclays Bank will be closing in Weymouth. The bank, which is located on St Mary Street in Weymouth, will close on Friday the 3rd of March at midday. The decision was made to close the branch in December and comes 4 years after the company opted to close its location in Bridport as well. In a letter sent out to customers, Barclays wrote, "Many of our customers are choosing to bank differently these days, which means fewer customers are visiting our branches, and because of this we're going to be changing the way we support our customers in the area." The closure means that local customers will have to make the journey to Dorchester to visit their nearest branch in person. Despite closing, the bank has said it plans to open another resource to provide help to Barclays customers, but there will be no cash handling on the premises when this opens. Barclays have not announced where this new facility will be or when it will open. Another bank, HSBC, will be shutting 5 of its outlets across the county this year, with it announcing that footfall was at an all-time low and that 97.5% of transactions are now done digitally. This will see branches close in Bridport, Dorchester, Blandford, Shaftesbury and Christchurch later this year. So not good news for face-to-face banking services if you rely on going into a bank counter. Now, a further public consultation is underway to ensure Weymouth and surrounding areas and parishes in the Vale of Allen and group parish councils continue to reflect the communities they represent. Following consideration of the submissions received in the consultation undertaken in the autumn last year, a report of draft recommendations was agreed by the full council on the 14th of February. You can now view these initial submissions received from town and parish councils as well as other organisations and members of the public on the Dorset Council website. You can give your views on this, and you have until, I believe it's the middle of April, I haven't put the date down, but I think it's the middle of April to get your views in. If you go to the Dorset Council website and look for Community Governance Review and then look for Weymouth and surrounding areas, you will find the information you need. As well as the online questionnaire, paper copies are available in all Dorset Council libraries, or by calling 01305 251010. So that's 01305 251010 if you don't want to look at that and comment online. Now, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and the ink has dried on the paper. Dorset Council has now handed the keys to the Redlands Leisure Facility in Weymouth to local charity Active Dorset. Now, you know this is a story that's been going on for probably well over a year. Following Weymouth College's decision to hand back the lease to Dorset Council in 2021, councillors and officers listened closely to the concerns of the community at Redlands and worked with Active Dorset on plans to improve the outdoor facilities and keep the indoor facilities open. Renamed Redlands Leisure and Community Park, Active Dorset have hit the ground running by introducing a new web-based booking system, opening a community cafe, putting up new signage and working on the roof in a few areas. Future plans include a new catering facility and cafe in the function room, creating an indoor soft play area for children, new lighting and flooring upgrades in the main sports hall, and potential development of the current football pitches and the introduction of a dog walking area. Martin Kimberley, who's the Chief Executive of Active Dorset, said, "I'd like to thank the members of the public who fought to keep the centre open, and we are already seeing positive signs of more users, which is key to making Redlands thrive. We now need help to reach more people who will benefit from using the facilities. We are asking for everyone's help in creating a flourishing online community that can help spread the word about the opportunities available at this site. We've already launched a new Facebook account and webpage, and we especially want to hear from people who may want to join or start their own clubs and activities at Redlands." When Dorset Council's former tenant was considered closing the indoor facilities, the public outcry was loud enough for all concerned to take action and develop a new approach to the site. Now we need those users and the local community to translate that vocal support into action so we can demonstrate that Redlands Leisure and Community Park can thrive in the long term. And finally, in the news headlines tonight, the coroner for Dorset has called on the public to help find the next of kin for a man who died in Weymouth. Anthony Hancock died at his home address in Weymouth at age 65. His death is not being treated as suspicious, and there's not an investigation by the police. But the coroner's officer, Sharon Emerson, said, "We are not treating it as suspicious. However, we have not been able to locate any next of kin. If any member of the public has any knowledge of his family members, then please contact the Dorset coroner as soon as possible." So that's Anthony Hancock, who died aged 65 in Weymouth. If you know anything about him, get in touch with the Dorset coroner. If you can't get in touch with the coroner, then do get in touch with us and we'll be happy to pass on any information that you have got. Now that's the end of tonight's headlines. On the 26th of November last year, 2022, George Wilson Weir, OBE, known as Doddy Weir, died at the age of 52. Now, Doddy was a Scottish rugby union player who was diagnosed with motor neurone disease in 2016. He became involved with campaigning and fundraising and setting up a foundation named My Name's Doddy, which has raised £8 million for motor neurone disease by the time he died. Doddy's work has continued since his death, and this week we're sharing a video report with you from the Department of Health focusing on the work of the Doddy Weir Foundation and their support for motor neuron disease sufferers and research.
Scottish rugby international Doddy Weir passed away last November after living with motor neuron disease for several years. Studies have linked repeated head trauma to an increased likelihood of developing MND, which affects the brain and nerves and has a devastating impact on people's lives. Doddy campaigned for more research into the disease, bringing people together from across sport, television and beyond through the My Name's Doddy Foundation. Health and Social Care Secretary Steve Barclay visited King's College recently to see some of the hard work already underway to understand and ultimately cure MND. He was joined by former England rugby captain Phil Vickery, who's an ambassador for the charity set up by his friend Doddy.
International front rows are probably known as the toughest of tough guys on the pitch, and yet just how emotionally this impacts people is probably something you've seen and really felt.
Some of the stories and the messages I get sent on a daily basis of people doing, giving as much as they can. It's not just about money, it's effort, time, energy, passion, commitment. I'm a passionate guy, yeah. I'm a big old front row forward with cauliflower ears.
30 seconds, always on the ball.
But there's a call to arms. It was Doddy who said, no, we need to raise money to find research, find out more about this. I will never forget him stood there saying he's taking the same medication as someone would have been taking 40 years ago.
To combat the disease, the government has accelerated the release of £29.5 million of the £50 million pledged for research over the next 5 years.
I really think my guardian angel was smiling on me when I was offered the Lighthouse trial when my disease hasn't progressed.
The most amazing facility. We've got the people, we've got the energy, we've got the support, we've got the will. We need the money, we need to get these girls and boys fast track and speed up everything which they're doing. I had a fantastic meeting this afternoon at Westminster at the roundtable meeting.
First time I've met Bill Vickery. I'm a rugby fan. I played rugby at school and university. No, it's great to meet him. And in the meeting with Steve Barclay, he was very impressive. We were successful in November 2021 to get an announcement from government that they would invest £50 million of new money in targeted MND translational research. This was a fantastic and emotional moment for a lot of us. Our scientists are getting closer and closer to meaningful disease-modifying treatments.
Once we know what causes it, then hopefully we have an insight into where we can start to make changes.
Skills under pressure. Let's try and get that ball out, get two passes and get around some teams.
You're passionate as well. I love passionate people.
Going off on their own. Let's go back to what we're looking for, look at that shape and go from there, yeah?
I vowed and made a promise to Doddy the last time I spoke to him, and I told him that I personally will never give up, and I'll do everything that I can to make sure that we are part of finding that cure for MND.
Yeah, thanks Phil for what you're doing, for what Doddy Weir Foundation is doing, and I'm looking forward to supporting you.
I know you care deeply and you want to get things right, and I just can't put into words just the impact that you just being here will have on everybody in the MND fraternity.
1, 2, 3, Welsh!
There we go, that was about the Doddy Weir Foundation and the research into MND. Now, work to raise awareness and raise funds for research into supporting those with MND continues with other rugby players, as we know, basically because the rugby players have been more susceptible through head injury, or it's thought that they are. And obviously fellow MND sufferer Rob Burrows is very high profile in the media, and his close friend and rugby player Kevin Sinfield, OBE, who has been raising significant millions of pounds also with his epic runs that have been covered by the media. Now, if you want to learn more and to support the work about MND, the MND Association is the place to go, and you can go along to their website at mndassociation.org. Nice and easy, mndassociation.org. You can learn about what research is happening, and you can offer some financial support if you would like to help with that. Now, moving on, a few weeks ago we had the Great Garden Birdwatch that the RSPB organise each year, counting birds in our gardens and trying to find out the state of garden birds in the UK. But have you ever seen a bird in your garden that you don't think is quite right? Maybe it's an albino bird, or it's got some weird colour, or something that's a little bit strange and not quite right. Well, if that's the case, the British Trust for Ornithology wants to hear from you. They want to hear about birds with weird colour or plumage, And we're going to hear more about this now from India James and Jamie Wyke from the RSPB, who are encouraging us to look out for these birds and let the British Trust for Ornithology know.
We're here to talk about unusual looking birds with weird plumage that can turn up in our gardens in winter.
And also the confusion that plumage abnormalities can cause when trying to identify different species at this time of year.
And at this time of year, it's really easy to find birds. The trees have lost their leaves, birds are moving around looking for food, so we can see more in our gardens and green spaces.
But there are always some birds that can take us by surprise and that don't appear as we expect them to. So we also have lots of inquiries about birds with plumage abnormalities at this time of year.
And what sort of abnormalities are we talking about here?
So mostly we get inquiries about leucism. True leucism is a genetic condition where there's a lack of melanin pigment in the skin and in the feathers. And this causes white patches of feathers, which are usually symmetrical, or overall white plumage. You can get other genetic conditions as well, like dilution, which causes paler feathers, and non-heritable causes. Dietary imbalance, for example, can cause progressive greying. And then we have inquiries about albino birds, which are usually completely white, and melanistic birds, which are darker or have darker patches.
Can we report our sightings to anyone?
Yes, so you can actually report sightings to the British Trust for Ornithology. They have an abnormal plumage survey. And although we don't have a survey ourselves, the Wildlife Inquiries team love to have sightings of weird and wonderful wildlife sent in. So we're always happy to help with IDs as well, and we've had some great sightings sent in recently.
What's the difference between a leucistic bird and an albino bird?
So leucistic birds are commonly seen compared to albino birds, which are extremely rare. Albino birds have a genetic mutation which prevents complete melanin production and results in a complete lack of pigment. So that means that they have red or pink eyes as opposed to leucistic birds which retain their normal dark eyes. They're also very prone to predation because they have really poor eyesight, whereas leucistic birds tend to fare quite well in the wild.
Now, during the colder months, we can get some other unusual species turning up in our gardens and local green spaces, can't we?
That's right, so there can be some confusion between leucistic robins and female black redstarts because of their similar size and shape. We also get some confusion between leucistic garden birds and snow buntings.
Snow buntings? Wow.
Globally, snow buntings actually breed in Scandinavia, Alaska, Canada and Greenland. So in the UK, they're mainly seen as winter migrants along the coastal areas of the UK. But there is a small breeding population in Scotland as well.
But they're not likely to turn up in your garden, are they?
Unlikely, but you never know.
So while you may not get a snow bunting on your bird table this winter, seeing a leucistic or albino bird would be a real treat.
There we go, that's India and Jamie from the RSPB, encouraging you to look out for birds in your garden that's plumage or colour are weird in some way, and to report it to the Abnormal Plumage Survey at the British Trust for Ornithology. Now, it's very easy to find their website. It's probably the shortest website I've ever come across. Their website is bto.org. bto.org, so that's a nice and easy one to remember. That's the British Trust for Ornithology. Well done, that's good. That's something to be doing in these winter months as we're looking at our kitchen or our lounge windows into the garden. Now it's that time in the programme where we go to our regular contributor Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. Last weekend, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was released in cinemas as the 31st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the start of Phase 5. The film stars Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, a former criminal who acquired a suit that allowed him to shrink in size but increase in strength. The film revolves around Lang and his daughter Cassie, his girlfriend Hope, and her parents as they get dragged into the quantum realm and find themselves coming into conflict with Kang the Conqueror. Now, I went to go check out the film in cinemas last weekend, and I was eagerly anticipating the film. The film was visually excellent, except for a certain part of Modoc's CGI, and I was very impressed with the directing, as well as Paul Rudd's performance in the film, but I found the script to be lacking, as the film was more of a Star Wars-esque space opera compared to the comedy of the previous films, so the change in genre felt a little jarring, as well as a lot of the comedy in the film felt forced. But at the end of the day, I did enjoy the film. I did enjoy it, and I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. The film remains in cinemas, so go check it out. Last Sunday, the BAFTAs ceremony was held in London, celebrating the best in film as voted for by the British Film Academy. Usually, this yearly awards ceremony is a good estimate for how the Oscars will play out, but this year's ceremony was dominated by the German-language World War I remake, All Quiet on the Western Front, and the Irish hit black comedy, The Banshees of Inisherin, showing favouritism towards British and European talent. The full list of winners is available on various sites, including BAFTA.org, Wikipedia, and various news outlets. The Oscars are the next big awards ceremony, taking place on March 12th after a series of small awards ceremonies focusing on individual disciplines. And from the looks of this awards race, it is really now becoming anyone's game. This weekend is the release of Cocaine Bear, a dark comedy action film directed by actress Elizabeth Banks and is based on the true story of an American black bear that ingested a duffel bag full of cocaine in 1985. The film is notable for being one of the final performances of actor Ray Liotta, famous for his role in Goodfellas, who passed away last year. At the time of writing, critics' reviews have not yet been released for the film, but at the time of filming, I've started to see a couple of reviews trickle online. So be on the lookout. It is about 95 minutes long, and the trailer promises to be a lot of fun. So I would recommend to go check it out. It's very much like a survival horror film, but with a sort of dark comedy twist, so that's interesting to check out. Now that's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will preview the new Creed film. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much there, Andrew, for that, and we will be back with Andrew next week. Now it's time to see what the weather has in store for us this weekend, and we're going over to the Met Office for the National Weather Forecast, and this week it's brought to us by Craig Snell.
Hello there, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office. Well, as we go through the next few days and into next week, the weather is set to be largely settled for all of us, and it's all courtesy of this area of high pressure, which doesn't go very far as we go into next week. It does maintain a fairly cool breeze off the North Sea, so if you do live along the North Sea or maybe along the English Channel, certainly wrap up warmly over the next few days, because that wind will certainly have an edge to it. Back to Saturday now, and quite a lot of cloud across the country actually for this afternoon. Best of the sunshine across western Scotland, and that cloud may be thick enough at times across northern England, down into the Midlands for the odd shower, but for most it is a largely dry afternoon. Temperatures on the thermometer reaching around 6 to 9 degrees, but where we do see that wind coming off the North Sea, it is going to feel significantly colder than that. Temperatures more like around 2 to 4 degrees here. Certainly wrap up warmly if you are out and about. Into this evening, a lot of the cloud actually beginning to melt away, and that's going to be a perfect recipe for a fairly clear, cold and frosty night. But the cloud may just continue to feed off the North Sea across eastern Scotland, down into northern England. So here actually temperatures may stay above freezing right throughout the night. But where we do see the clearest skies across western Scotland, Northern Ireland, here temperatures may be falling as low as -4 or -5 degrees. But here be compensated somewhat in the morning by some early morning sunshine. And actually for a lot of the country, maybe more in the way of sunshine tomorrow compared to today, but for eastern parts of Scotland, northern England, in fact, actually it's probably going to be another fairly rather cloudy day here, and that cloud may well just sink its way a little bit further southwards into parts of the Midlands and Wales as we go into the afternoon. Mostly dry again, maybe just the odd shower around, and in the sunshine temperatures reaching around 8 to 9 degrees, but feeling quite cold where that cloud lingers on. Into Sunday evening, we will see another fairly frosty night to come away from the major towns and cities. But just like recent nights, we may well just continue to see some cloud linger across southern Scotland and northern England. And looking ahead to next week, after a cold and frosty start on Monday, we see very little change on the weather as we go through next week. Most of us, it will stay largely dry, settled, could just see the odd wintry shower at times, maybe even in the south on Wednesday, but very little to be going on as we go into next week. And for most, it will be feeling fairly cold, especially in the east and the south, courtesy of that fairly brisk wind off the North Sea. And you can find out more about the weather where you are on our app or on our website, and you can always check us out on social media where we'll keep you up to date with the latest weather across the UK and across the world. But that's all from me for now.
Thank you very much, Craig, and we'll have a look and see what the weather holds for us in South Dorset for the week ahead. And there we go. There's an absence of rain this coming week. It's going to be sunny with cloudy and sunny spells. Thursday's the best day for the sun, but as you can see, those temperatures have dropped significantly again. So about the top temperature for the whole week is about 8 degrees. So it's a case of putting those layers on if you're going out, but at least it'll be dry. So that is to be welcomed. So maybe a few jobs in the garden, maybe going out for a bit of fresh air and a walk. That's this week for you. Now, moving to What's On. Quite a lot in our What's On section tonight. First of all, Weymouth Pavilion. 1st of March, Macbeth. 8th of March, That'll Be the Day. 11th of March, Some Guys Have All the Luck. 12th of March, Jim Davidson. 17th of March, Weldmar Strictly Ballroom. 19th of March, Sunday Night Comedy with Andy Parsons. 22nd of March, Dreamcoat Stars. Now that's all about the music of Joseph and the Maid's Colour Dreamcoat. And there's quite a few stars that have actually been in that show there, presenting that programme that evening. So if that's some music you like, that might be a good one. 23rd of March, Lost in Music. And 24th of March, Jimmy Carr, Terribly Funny, another comedy night at the Pavilion. As always, those tickets are available online at weymouthpavilion.com or by phoning the box office on 01305 783 225. Now turning to the Knowth Fort, they've got their classified bunker weekend this weekend. So tomorrow the bunker I think will be open, and you can have an immersive tour down into the bunker and learn about what happened during that sort of Cold War sort of phase. The Knowth Fort is holding its Springtober Beer Festival on Saturday, March the 11th, which a selection of Dorset's best beers, food and music will be celebrated. The event runs from 4 o'clock to 10 p.m. and will be accompanied by Sir Nabbas Brewery, which is bringing a variety of Dorset's very best beers for attendees to try. And the beers will be announced in the next week or so. There'll be plenty of food on offer from the Dorset Food Company and spectacular street food. There's also going to be some umpar music, so that should be fun as well. Tickets are on sale now, and people can add on a special Knowth Fort beer glass for just £1.50, and this is a reduced rate if ordered before the event. So the tickets to attend are £10, and you can find them on the Knowth Fort website at www.knowthfort.org.uk. Also coming up at the Knowth Fort is their Science Day on the 19th of March and their Wedding Fair on the 26th of March. Now, if you're into transport, there's a talk from a transport historian on the early developments of railways in the UK, and that's coming to Weymouth next week. Historian John New will be leading the talk, which will look at the impact that Napoleon Bonaparte had on British railways. In his talk, Mr. New will outline how the Napoleonic War in the early 1800s and its aftermath changed the shape of transport in Britain and then the world. The talk will be at the Hope United Reformed Church at 8 Trinity Street. And there'll be tea and biscuits served from 2 p.m. and the talk will begin at 2:30, and it is this coming Monday, the 27th of February, so 2 days' time. That's at Hope United Reformed Church on Monday. Doors open 2 o'clock with tea and biscuits, and the talk starts at 2:30. Tickets are £2 for members of the Weymouth Museum Friends and £3 for non-members. So if you're interested in transport history, that's a good one there to go to. Now, what else we got coming up? Arts Reach. They've got Bard in the Yard coming up this week. William Shakespeare is stuck. Blank parchment stuck. He's trying to write a new masterpiece and he has the weight of his company's eager return to the stage on his shoulders. What's more, he's been sent to Scotland to write a play, but apart from meeting a witch and penning a rough draft of a speech about a dagger, he's got nothing. The king will have his head on a stick if Will dares show his quill in London without a Scottish play. Can you help the greatest playwright of all overcome his writer's block? Now, that's on Thursday the 2nd of March, that's this Thursday, 8 o'clock at the Exchange in Sturminster Newton, and then Friday a bit closer to Weymouth, Friday at 8 o'clock at West Stafford Village Hall. I was there on Monday night at West Stafford Village Hall. My son was playing table tennis there, so nice little venue there in West Stafford. So that's Friday the 3rd of March, West Stafford. So that's Bard in the Yard from Arts Reach. Also from Arts Reach, Latchpen. Acoustic by nature, Latchpen performed jazz on strings, with influences ranging from Romani music through to bebop. Now that's Friday the 3rd, 7:30 at Broad Windsor Comrades Hall, Saturday the 4th of March at Langton Travis Village Hall, 7:30, and Sunday the 5th of March, 7:30 at St John's Church, Hinton Martell. All of those are on the Arts Reach website, so just go into Google and search for Arts Reach. Lots and lots of things coming up from Arts Reach. They're all available to read about on their website and also to book tickets. Now, Saturday next week, the 4th of March, is the Weymouth Music Festival. Local children and bands will be taking part all day. Refreshments are available at small cost. It's taking place at St Aldham's Church, Spa Road, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there will be a festival concert on the 10th of March at St Aldham's Church at 7 p.m. Now, all the information on that is available online at the festival website, and that's www.weymouthmusicfestival.co.uk. Now, I mentioned this last week, despite the village stores being closed in Wyke, the premises are still being used. Upkeep Sewing, which is run by a local business owner, Molly, is based in the stores, and the stores are also being used for local events. And this Thursday, the 2nd of March, from 6:30 to 8:30, there will be a sewing and floristry workshop. That's this Thursday, 2nd of March, in the Old Wyke Village stores, 6:30 to 8:30. A sewing and floristry workshop. Now, for more information on this event, and to book a place and to find out information on future events, drop Molly an email at upkeepsewing@gmail.com. Now, Weymouth Weymouth Choral Society is to perform Music of Majesty at St Paul's Church, Abbotsbury Road, on Saturday the 25th of March at 7:30. And this is going to be basically a lot of the sort of coronation type music and stuff to do with the royal sort of engagements and that sort of thing. There are some guest soloists: Simon Earle on the organ, Winston Lees on trumpet, 4 vocal soloists: Nicola Burley, Lee Page, Jonathan Valander and Gareth Jones. I know Gareth, I used to work with Gareth, so it should be a good evening. Do get some tickets for that. That's the 25th of March, 7:30 at St Paul's Church, Music of Majesty. Now, where does it say where the tickets are available from? It doesn't. I will find out by next week where those tickets are available from, but do put that in your diary. It's a little bit of time, yeah, it's about 3 weeks away. And also on Tuesday this coming week, there's an art demonstration and workshop with Tony Paul at South Hill Community Centre in Weymouth. Anyone interested in art is welcome to attend this event. Bring some basic materials with you if you'd like to take part in the workshop. The workshop will be from 9:45 to 11:45 and admission is £2. The doors will open at 9 a.m. So there we go. If you want more information, you can call Carol on 07890 04 0005. There we go, lots on. I thought before we'd finish the What's On tonight, we'd have a sample of one of the Arts Reach things coming up, and I've got a little excerpt of Latch Pen, the concert that's coming up this coming week for you. Latch Pen from Arts Reach that performing next weekend. Now, regular church services in the Wyke and west of Weymouth area this weekend. All Saints Church 8 a.m. tomorrow and 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, and St Edmund's Church at 11 o'clock. Talking of our additional programmes, our quiz will be on tonight in 40 minutes now at 7:30. This stream will go live about 7:15, so people can get comfortable and find us. So that is open to everyone. Do join us. And finally, in our programme tonight, some updates on traffic and travel for you. Right, train users have been warned to expect delays following a signal fault between Weymouth and Upwey. So Southwestern trains are travelling a little bit slower out of Weymouth, but they hope to get it finished this weekend. Now, also, Network Rail is planning to carry out track upgrades between Dorchester West and Yeovil Pen Mill, which is going to cause some disruption in late February and early March. So no trains will be able to run between Yeovil Pen Mill and Dorchester West from Monday the 27th of February, this Monday, to Friday the 3rd of March, and from Monday the 6th to Friday the 10th of March. There are going to be some disruptions. There are bus replacement services in place, but also what's been arranged is you can use your Great Western Railway tickets on South Western Railways, and you can travel from Weymouth to Southampton Central and then join the GWR network from there. So that might be an easier route for you rather than going to Weymouth to Dorset South, getting on a bus and trundling off through the sort of rural part of Dorset. So do look at that if you're travelling between now and the 10th of March and going on the Great Western Railway network from Weymouth. Look to see if it's going to be better to go to Dorset and get on a bus service, or whether it's going to be better to travel to Southampton Central and join the GWR network there. And I say, yes, South Western Railways are accepting GWR tickets. They've put that arrangement in place. Now, looking at roadworks, quite a lot of roadworks happening in the Wyke end of Weymouth over the next few weeks. Junction of Lanehouse Rocks Road and Fremantle Road, the works continue there, and sometimes the traffic lights are on and is controlling the traffic, and sometimes the barriers are back and they're trying to keep the road open as much as they can. But there's also going to be roadworks with traffic control at times on Chickerell Road, Wyke Road, Buxton Road and Radipole Lane and Abbotsbury Road. So this side of town is going to be a bit mad for the coming week. Also, the roadworks on Dorset Road by Nottington Lane and Dorset Road by Morrison's continue, and there could also be some roadworks on Preston Road as well with traffic control this week. So not so good on the roads, certainly in the south side of Weymouth this coming week. Now that brings us to the end of this evening's programme. Thank you for being with me yet again. If you have any news or any activities that are coming up or any events for us, then do drop us a line during the week at news@wykeregis.tv. We're always pleased to hear from you, and we will share that information with viewers and listeners next Saturday to let them know about your event and what is coming up in the week ahead. I hope you have a good weekend, and I hope the coming week is good for you, and I look forward to being back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Good night.